Morning, everybody, and thanks for the opportunity, Dr. KMK and the organizers of Telangana CSA. It's my pleasure and honor to speak in front of Dr. Krishnamurthy sir and Dr. Rajiv Pallu sir. What I was supposed to speak today is about something to deal with de novo hospitalized. Do you have another pointer which projects there? Yeah. De novo hospitalized patients with heart failure with reduced ejection fraction and how to impact these outcomes. I would also briefly touch upon the latest 2021 January guidelines of ACC and ECGP pathways of heart failure briefly. And what I'm planning to do in about a very short time allotted is to explain to you what is de novo heart failure and need for a better therapy for these. So why are in research like that and guidelines regarding sacubitril valsartan and cover some very important aspects of these latest guidelines which came in January 2021 and dwell little more on the molecule of choice today, impact of sacubitril valsartan and how it changes outcomes in de novo heart failures and whether ACE inhibitor should be given prior or directly can be given and how to titrate this dose. And most of the latest guidelines highlighted not to mention waste too much of time and get these molecules on board faster so that patients will have better outcomes and touch upon 5 pillars of heart failure and take you through some of this heart failure concepts which are getting redefined like in hypertension, not to do only step care, but do these drugs faster so that patients would get the best and conclude in the end. As we said, de novo heart failure, how is it different from acute decompensated failure is, these patients did not have any diagnosed underlying cardiac dysfunction before. That means they are presenting to us for the first time. Either it was not there or it is a new onset cardiac dysfunction. Whereas acutely decompensated heart failure is, we have chronic dysfunction before. Some precipitating factors, they come with heart failure presentations. So if you see why is it different, basically the mechanisms are same. It could present as diastolic or systolic heart failure. They lead to pulmonary congestion, RV dysfunction, and systemic congestion. And as they gradually go on, the neuroendocrine stimulation, inflammation, disease progression happens, and these patients worsen. And why we are worried so much is it's likely supposed to be having little more different pathology, and probably acute de novo heart failure happens when there is a sudden increase in intracardiac pressures, filling pressures, and because of something happening acute of pump failure, reduced perfusion pressures, and pulmonary edema. And management basically deals with supporting either pharmacologically or mechanically or immediately something which is there ischemic to correcting in hemodynamic compromise and correction of underlying cause. It helps in treating these patients. And if you see, de novo heart failures are more younger, less comorbidities, and they don't have past history of MIs as well as revascularization history before. So we need to have slight distinction between these two and tackle these patients. But at the same time, mortality, if you see, is as good as chronic heart failure patients. And very dismal, what is disappointing is 1 year mortality will be about 22% and 10-year mortality with 72% more malignant than many malignancies. If you see the in-hospital outcomes, 5% of them could die within the hospital, especially if they need more acute ICU admissions. 50% plus will need ICU admissions. And then 6 months mortality is as high as 15%. And the hospital stays vary from 7 to 15 days. And when the discharge medication, if you see these patients, ACE inhibitors, ARBs were used in 76%, middle-cortic anticoaguls are used in 51%, beta blockers in 60%. But in spite of all these, readmission dates are very high, varying from 10 to 30%. Various trials came through, which last 2 decades. I think where the paradigm heart failure got into new concepts of treating these patients with sacubitril valsartan combination, that is what is RNA. So previously, all of us used to think that de novo treatment choice is ACE inhibitors, ARBs, but we have to relearn ourselves and take this new data, which shows that RNA should be preferred over these ACE inhibitors or receptor blockers. There is paucity of data in de novo heart failure initiation therapies, though we have little studies with middle-cortical receptor antagonists and beta blockers, not much with ACE inhibitors or ARBs. But sacubitril valsartan is the only therapy which have evidence of in-hospital initiation of heart failure therapies. That's how the latest guidelines supported it. If you think why this is working better compared to all other drugs, All the other molecules which were there, these are the newer trials, paradigm, heart failure, titration, pioneer, transition, all that were done with this newer molecule. Why this is working better is all the time previously we were targeting only the pathways where the bad molecules production was decreased. But now the sacubitril valsartan, we are preventing the degradation of good molecules. That's how the heart likes it, the vasculature likes it, and patient do well because they're better. They work like steroids and morphine to these heart failure patients. So that's how European Society Guidelines 2019 said initiation of sacubitril valsartan should be done straight away rather than ACE inhibitors or ARBs in these patients of de novo heart failure too. This helps in titrating the dose very early, and you need not keep on checking NT-proBNP and things like that before you start on this molecule, because anyway there would be some modification after we use these molecules. And a word about this latest update which came in JAC in January 21, which again suggested something very important. Then we know all these therapies are established. Loop diuretics are there. ARNIs are preferred over ACE inhibitors, and digoxin only to be used with fast heart failure and low BP. This statement I liked it. I thought I would highlight it. Many times beta blockers versus ARNI, we have a confusion. Beta blockers is better tolerated when the patients are dry and to be initiated. The ACE inhibitors ARNI when the patients are wet, when they're congested. That's what it means. And then stage C heart failure, that is ARNI to be preferred. ACE ARB to be used only when you can't use ARNI. Then only when the patients are on ACE inhibitors, you need to give 36 hours of time-free period to avoid the side effects. So to summarize these latest things, adjustment of therapy should be done every 2 weeks, and optimal guideline-directed therapy should be structured to these patients within 3 to 6 months without wasting too much time, because some of these high-risk patients could die if you delay the initiation of this treatment. And as I already said, ARNIB is a preferred therapy whenever ejection fraction is less than 40% and class 2, 3, and 4 heart failure patients. And this should be given as a treatment of choice. And because about one significant number of patients could benefit, we need not worry too much about the side effects, and monitoring can be done. What about contraindication is, again, when the patient is already an ACE inhibitor, don't straight away start, give 36 hours free interval. And obviously, angioedema, allergy, or the other things. Severe hepatic impairment is what is a problem. But mild, moderate renal failure, hepatic failure, still you could give this drug with modified dose. Other contraindications are low pressures and renal stenosis, which I'm not going into detail. Little more detail about sacubitril valsartan in these things. They decrease cardiac biomarkers. They also decrease the patients stay longer out of hospital, decrease the mortality and the recurrent hospitalizations in these patients of when they're put on these molecules. And the rehospitalization, we know, again, that leads to a lot of increased mortality in these patients. And this addition of this molecule causes 11% decrease in this. That's how. Other doubt is whether they equally work effective without ACE inhibitors. Again, shows that with ACE inhibitors, when switch over, the 40% reduction. Straight away when it started, the reduction was 48% reduction. I would just finish. And reduces CV deaths without directly starting, even without ACE inhibitors also. And then pro-BNP levels are also significantly decreased. That's how dose titration could happen faster straight away if you start with this molecule and build up this to 100 mg BD. What you also need to see is this helped us in building up the step scale of dose pop early. And you also need to build up the doses of beta blockers and mineralocortical receptor antagonists along with this molecule. And to summarize, risk of readmission in de novo heart failure is higher, but it decreases significantly with the usage of this molecule. In hospital mortality will be 5%, but if you use these molecules, probably you do good to these patients and prevent increasing mortality. The 5 pillars which are mentioned here, ACE inhibitors, neprilysin, and probably neprilysin inhibitors, sacubitril valsartan, is scoring over ACE inhibitors, beta blockers, MR, and SGLT2 inhibitors will be dealt by my subsequent speakers. The proposed new sequencing, I think we can have some discussion on it after the subsequent talks. Thank you very much for patient hearing.
Thank you, Dr. Srinivas. That was a crisp presentation. The RNA are a very good group of drugs, but they are not without their problems. And the patients who usually don't tolerate the ACE or ARB are unlikely to tolerate the RNA as well. So we will discuss about this at the end of the session, including these ones. So we will invite the next one.
Next, move on to the next speaker. I think this is online presentation. Dr. Girish Navasundi.